So 'tis the season, folks, and I'm not talking about the fat man Kringle coming down your chimney and potentially stealing your gifts because he's really a crackhead. I'm talking about, of course, the Keeley Awards. Now, there's been lots of debate over the Game Awards, whether it's really a relevant thing or not. Of course, we have the nominees, with a lot of these things being suspect. But let's be realistic. I feel like a vast majority of people don't really necessarily care about the awards themselves. They care about the reveals that happen at the Game Awards. And there's been varying degrees of success with various reveals over the past few years. You, of course, have had new games, new hardware even announced. So I thought today it would be fun to take a look at the big three when it comes to video games. I, of course, am talking about Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo, to see kind of what is being said about these companies as far as presenting something at the Game Awards and kind of what I feel about it. Obviously, I'm not going to touch on third-party stuff because that's the wild, wild west. Who knows what they're going to do? So if this is your first time on the channel, hit that subscribe button, like the video, all that crap. Let's kick things off with Xbox. Now, out of all three of the companies that will be potentially doing something at the Game Awards, I feel like Xbox is probably the safest bet. Xbox has a lot of games, a lot of titles that they've showcased, but they never really gave a release date to. Of course, Xbox has shown their solidity with the Game Awards by doing things like, I don't know, unveiling the Xbox Series X. Now, of course, there is that revision Xbox console that's supposedly coming. I don't think this will be at, or that will be at this event or anything like that, but I could definitely see some software getting an update via a trailer or some sort of announcement, and then maybe even some sort of release dates. I hope that that is the case, because out of the three companies, I do feel like Xbox is kind of, you know, positioned behind the 8 ball when it comes to the other two as far as what they're doing. Of course, we've gotten various sales data. Starfield kind of came and went. I don't think it had the lasting appeal that Xbox was really thinking it would have, but I mean, I still think it's a really good game. Of course, there's been some rumors about a Gears of War 6 or a Gears of War compilation coming to us from my good friend Colt Eastwood, fellow Xbox YouTuber. And I mean, a compilation, I guess, would be kind of cool. It kind of diminishes, you know, what that will be because of the fact that all those games are backwards compatible. But then again, Sony likes to do things with The Last of Us all the time, so I guess it's not really outside of the realm of possibility. I think Xbox will have the strongest showing out of the three companies just because of the fact that they obviously like the Game Awards. They've obviously done a ton of stuff at the Game Awards, and I don't really see that coming to an end here. Will it be something like a Gears of War 6 or a mid-gen hardware refresh? I don't think it'll be that big, but maybe some release dates for some previously announced games with some updated trailers. Maybe even a Perfect Dark, Fable sort of teaser. Like, I think that would be pretty cool. Next up, of course, we have Sony with the PlayStation brand. And once again, I'm not quite sure how they will sort of react to the Game Awards. Whereas Xbox has been a consistent with various reveals and release date announcements and stuff like that, PlayStation, kind of the past year or two, hasn't really shown up all that well at the Game Awards. But that doesn't mean that first-party PlayStation games won't be at this event, because I think there's a very, very good chance that Death Stranding 2 gets revealed at this event. And although it's technically not a first-party game, it is a game that we all expect to be a console exclusive on the PlayStation 5. Now, everyone knows I'm not the biggest fan of the original Death Stranding. You know, I thought the director's cut content looked kind of cool as far as the more stealth-based, you know, actual gameplay instead of package deliveries. But I do understand that there's a large contingency of people that do enjoy Death Stranding 1, so I won't make fun of them too much. You know, I mean, I gotta take some jabs at you here and there. What about actual first-party Sony titles, though? Will we see anything from there? I could see The Last of Us Part 2 remaster definitely being there. I think they'll do some sort of trailer for it as well to sort of coincide with season 2 of the show as well. I think you could kill two birds with one stone, showing that off at the Game Awards. And I think people would be interested to see kind of the new modes that are going to be in it. I'm curious to see the cut content, the roguelike mode, to see if it's worthy of me investing some more time into the game. I've already done my bid with The Last of Us 2. Everyone knows how I feel about the story of that game. But beyond that, will there be any sort of surprises from Sony themselves as far as some of their first-party titles? Obviously, Sony is kind of in that same stage right now that Microsoft is in, where there's games coming in 2024, no doubt about it. But a lot of the first-party stuff seems to be up in smoke. Like, what are the release dates for these? Well, what's coming first? We don't really have any sort of indication or any sort of guide as to Sony's roadmap for 2024. So I do think that one of the previously announced Sony titles will get a more concrete release date. I'm not expecting it to be Wolverine or something like that, but I do feel like one of the games that Sony has talked about previously, whether it was at a state of play or a showcase presentation, I could definitely see some of those getting or at least one of them getting a release date to sort of fill out Sony's 2024 year. And then, of course, we have Nintendo. Now, whereas, Microsoft definitely supports the Game Awards, Sony sometimes does. Like, the past few years, Nintendo has just been completely missing in action. And I gotta keep it honest with you guys, I'm not expecting anything from Nintendo. I don't even expect them, you'll get your little trailer showcase about the system and the games that are available on the system. They'll do the little infomercial, and then that's it. I'm not expecting anything from Nintendo as far as announcements are concerned, but that hasn't stopped people from speculating and hoping and dreaming that a big reveal will be at this event. Some of the things that have been tossed around in this big reveal category are, of course, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD and Metroid Prime 2 HD. All of these games could be potentially stealth announced, even potentially stealth released, because you don't really need a build-up to sell games that everyone's already pretty much familiar with. Of course, we had the whole situation where supposedly Dr. Serkan Toto, who I'm still waiting to see his PhD, where he went to medical school at. I know he's not a medical doctor. It's a joke, you idiots. I'm curious to see if anything ever happens from that, because the ZR 2023, I mean, that could have meant anything. That doesn't really have to mean Zelda necessarily. People just assumed it meant Zelda. I don't know, man. Like, it would be nice to see any of those three titles at the Game Awards 2023, but I just don't expect Nintendo to do much of anything at this, because kind of like, what's the benefit for them? Of course, they've done stuff like talked about Bayonetta. They, of course, talked about, the DLC for Breath of the Wild. So maybe an update on Metroid Prime 4, like maybe not a full-on reveal trailer with a release date or anything like that, but maybe some in-game footage of that to kind of showcase how that game is coming along. I think that maybe has the most potential out of anything. And then, of course, people seem to think that Nintendo's next hardware could be at this event, and to that I say, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. They're not announcing this thing before the end of the fiscal year of March 31st, 2024. There's no reason for them to. There's absolutely no reason for them to. They still want to sell Nintendo Switch systems, and I get it. You could talk about the new system while still selling versions of your current system. But that's just not how I see this playing out in any way, shape, or form, because there's no benefit in doing it at the Game Awards. I guess you do have a lot of eyes on you, and it could get people excited, but I just think that's such a far and away possibility that's not even worth like acknowledging as something that could really happen. But there's been so many people that have been talking about it, so I had to give my 2 cents in on it. But at the end of the day, the Game Awards is yet just another show. It's another show with sponsors where Jeff Keighley goes home and swims in his poolfuls of money that he's made from these events with all of the sponsors, all of the companies wanting to be involved and pay him to be on their show and stuff like that. I mean, even Sega's handing out some interesting things like a card to say, hey, we're going to be at the Game Awards. And it's like, bro, I am just prepared for ultimate disappointment for Sega. People are like, it's a new Virtua Fighter. Oh, maybe. Like, it'd be cool if there was some good Sega stuff, but yeah, no, my expectations for the Game Awards are already in the dirt. I expect a lot of crappy cell phone titles and things of that ilk. But let me know in the comments section down below, what do you feel has the best chance of showing up at the Game Awards? Will the three companies be supportive of this event, or are they going to kind of march to their own drum? We've heard from Kit and Krista that Nintendo of America did not like the Game Awards and kind of doing stuff there, and I don't really anticipate Nintendo of Japan caring that much about it either because, well, it's not in Japan. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share, hit the bell as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.